What's going on, guys? Crypto Poppy here. If you want to meet the man who is looking to disrupt the entire music industry, watch this video. You don't want to miss this. Let's get it. Guys, I am so freaking pumped to tell you that I have resigned from my 9 to 5 normie job. What does this mean? I am going all in on Crypto Poppy. Wait for my CPD Studios to come out. Guys, Bored Apes, you changed my fucking life. Guess what, boys? It's time to take the plunge. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for coming. Today, I have a very special episode with my man Spottie Wi-Fi. If you don't know who Spottie Wi-Fi is, then clearly you're not in the space and you don't know what you're doing, because this guy obviously has kind of done some groundbreaking things in the NFT space through music. And so I'm so pumped that we get to pick his brain. I'm just so curious about sort of who he is and where he comes from and how he got into this space. And so let's talk to Spottie. Spottie, my man, welcome to the show.
Poppy, bro, thank you so much for having me, man. I'm a big fan, and it's my honor to be here. I'm always excited to talk to the fans and to get exposed to your audience as well. It's a pleasure.
Nice. So, hey, man, I'm a fan too. From the moment I heard your music, so I missed the drop. I don't know where I was. I was somewhere. I heard your music as soon as it came out in the NFT form, and I started sort of collecting your NFTs, and I think I've got about 6 of them right now. So I'll keep collecting whenever, you know, I feel like the price is right. It's kind of my style. So Spottie, tell us, man, how did you get into this space?
Man, great question. So I was doing music full time like a decade ago, and got kind of burned by the traditional record industry, got into a couple bad contracts and just walked away from music. Didn't really write any music, any songs for almost a decade, and I was doing other stuff, just getting by to pay the bills. And then I got into crypto, like cryptocurrencies, in late 2017. I remember being at my parents' house for the holidays and seeing like, oh, Bitcoin's going crazy, this, Ethereum's going crazy, and it was on the news, like the mainstream news, and that should have been a sell signal probably, right? Like over the holidays of 2017. But I had no exposure to markets. I had no experience in investing, and I was part of the dumb money that rushed in right before the crash. So, but I was convicted, and that just made me like study up more and more every day. I didn't sell. I had a friend that told me you don't lose any money until you sell, and I just kept accumulating little bit more throughout the bear market. Then this year in January, I got exposed to NBA Top Shot through a couple friends on Twitter. My guys Prob Cause and my guy Regular Ruben on Twitter. I just saw them, like, and they're both from the music scene as well, that I was very much a part of, years ago. And I saw them talking about Top Shot, and this is like right up my alley. I'm a basketball fan. I know you're a Top Shot guy, and so I dove into Top Shot, and I felt a little bit late at that point, diving into Top Shot in January, and I was right, a little bit, but that was my gateway. And then by February, I had met a guy that I was telling you about off air named Crypto Novo 311. And Crypto Novo, he got into CryptoPunks last year, like 2020 sometime, if I'm not mistaken. So he had several CryptoPunks, and he just schooled me to this world of CryptoPunks and helped me understand that, like, they're sort of the OG, they're the rookie card of NFTs, some people have called them. And I just got that FOMO of like, okay, I have some crypto that I've accumulated over the years, and I really am starting to believe in these NFTs. So if that's the case, maybe this is where I should place a big bet. And that's what I did. I made I shopped around on the Larva Labs website and ended up acquiring CryptoPunk number 5528.
Man, if that was in Feb, those punks, the floor was probably what, like 10 ETH or less?
I think I'm having a hard time remembering the floor. I think the floor was probably like 15 or something, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
But for this guy, I paid 40 ETH. I'm sorry, my bad. I paid 27 ETH, which at that time was 40 grand.
Yeah.
I always tell people, because I think it's kind of interesting, I had no idea I was going to do anything musically with my CryptoPunk. I was really just looking for value. I was scanning the attributes page. My guy Novo, he taught me how to find the attributes page and just search by rarity and look at the lowest, most affordable available with different rarity traits. And I noticed that the spots, bro, the spots were super undervalued in my opinion at that time, because there's a stigma. Like nobody, apparently at that time, nobody wanted the spots to represent them because they
Right.
say it's acne, or, you know, it's
Right.
freckles or blemishes or something that they don't want. But I was just looking at it like there's only 10,000 punks and only 124 of them have these spots. You know, people talk about zombies. Zombies go for millions of dollars. There's 88 zombies. You know, there's 88 zombies. There's only 124 spots. Like, it's pretty rare. So that was how I made my decision to go with 5528.
Nice. So, and by the way, like I think a lot of people probably think, well, yeah, of course, if I knew about CryptoPunks, I would have spent, 40 ETH on one too, because they're worth, that I don't know how many ETH that's worth, but it's worth a heck of a lot more nowadays. And I think, first of all, during that time frame, that would have been a lot of ETH, even like for me, who was invested in crypto actually right at the same time as you. So we have a lot of things in
Wow.
similarities. Even I would have been like, dude, I'm not. I probably had close to that much ETH at that time sitting, in my accounts. I don't think I would have had the balls to do what you did, man. That took a lot of guts.
Well, it's funny because I know I'm enjoying my anonymity, but someday I'm not going to be anonymous forever. And I actually recorded a video. I recorded a selfie video of the moment I made the purchase because I was really nervous. I was really, really nervous. And I haven't watched it in a while, but I know it's kind of funny, like my reaction as soon as I pressed the buy button. So someday I got to share that. But the other thing I'll say is, you know, I was emboldened by Mark Cuban. He had just come out with a funny rap video himself, actually, where he was saying like crypto punks are priceless. Like
I
these are
love
like
that
one of his.
video. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like this guy's a billionaire saying crypto punks are priceless. Chamath, and I don't remember his
Right.
last name, but Chamath, early investor in Facebook and a bunch of other tech companies, he was on CNBC around that same time talking about how NFTs are the future, and he's amassing a healthy portfolio of NFTs, and he wasn't even going to share what they were yet. And I just remember watching those videos over and over again, thinking like, first off, Mark Cuban is in. I know Chamath is in. Like if he's buying NFTs, of course he's buying CryptoPunks. And it was just sort of an early sort of ground swelling of supporting evidence, you know, that emboldened me.
Nice. So in respects to Spottie the investor, what so you bought a CryptoPunk in January. What other projects sort of are you in? I actually don't even know if you own a Bored Ape, but I actually do see you comment quite a bit on the apes. So curious about whether you're invested in those, and what other projects do you look for from an investment perspective?
Yeah, man, I have I do have a few Bored Apes. I missed out on minting. I was watching you and Schiller's interview, which I recommend everybody watch. I wish I had been part of that excitement of minting, but I missed out on that early party. I jumped in about 3 weeks later after the minting ended, if I remember correctly, and I bought my first ape, ape number 4065. He's Cheetah Gang, and you know I'm on.
Nice.
He initiated me, Spottie, into the Cheetah Gang, so now I'm honorary Cheetah Gang. And he's my hype man. He's the world's only bored hype man. You know, so he's always on stage with me, looking real bored, just kind of bobbing his head. You know, he has a little saxophone solo on the album. For those of you that have heard the album, but that's Gold Rilla. That's my bored ape. That's my bored hype man, Gold Rilla. And then when the dogs came out, and I don't know, you might hear my cat meowing in the background, but when the dogs came out, I went into the safe and I grabbed my ledger, and the dogs flew. They went from like 2 or 3 ETH to like 5 ETH in like, I don't know, 24 hours. I'm paraphrasing, but and I at some point in the middle of that run up, I said, these are the next punks. And I went into the safe and I grabbed my ledger and I took a chunk of ETH that I never planned on spending, Poppy. This was like retirement ETH. This was like I'm buying, you know, we're buying a place to settle down and just ride out after we're done working ETH. I took a chunk of that and I bought a few more apes. So right now I have a handful of apes. And that was probably one of the most fortunate decisions I ever made. I also
Amazing for you, man.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
So there was, tell me something. There was some drama, right? Like early on, I remember because I was new to NFTs
outside of obviously it was for me, it was like kind of Top Shot, and then a few that didn't do anything, and then the Apes. But when the Apes came out, there was quite a bit of drama with like existing punks, and I actually saw punks like say out loud, "I will never buy an ape. You will never convince me to buy an ape." And I'm wondering, what made you think differently and actually invest in them?
Well, Poppy, I think differently than most of the punks, to be honest with you. The punks are an interesting collection of individuals. I don't really refer to us punks as a community because I don't believe we're really a true community. We're a collection of individuals. I think you got a lot of people that have crypto punks that they think they're the smartest person in the room because they were earlier than a lot of people, And I saw some guy. I saw one of the punks tweeting yesterday that like, oh, let's be careful what we call a blue chip. Nothing that came out in 2021 can be a blue chip because it's too recent. Like, dude, that's clown. That's clown behavior. Like, come on, bro. Get real. Get off your high horse. You were early, so what? Doesn't mean you're smarter than anybody. In fact, most of the punks don't even know what they really bought. If you ask the average punk, if you ask 99% of punk owners, what are your intellectual property rights as a punk owner, they will have no idea. And that's why I've tweeted before, like the punks were earlier, but the apes are smarter. Like the ape owners, they know what they're buying for sure, and I think they're actually getting a better product. But the punks have a certain historical value that can never be tarnished. But so all the ape versus punk stuff, I know that was a vibe for a while, but I don't know if you know this, Poppy. I'm the king of the crypto punks. At one time, I was the president of the crypto punks. I was elected 3 times. And after the 3rd election, I said, you know what, guys, this is getting embarrassing for the other 9,999 crypto punks. We're not going to do any more elections. No more of these Twitter votes, because I'm crushing people that got 40, 60, 80,000 followers. I'm getting more votes than them. So I'm just going to take the crown, and I'm going to be the king of the crypto punks. And on that day, it was at that time that I announced and I proclaimed that Gold Rilla, my board hype man, he was going to be my minister of primate affairs. And we established a delegation to go ahead and squash the beef. And that's part of the reason why I'm so proud to be part of the Cheetah Gang, because we don't have any time for that. Anybody that wants to be really entrenched in those sort of tribalistic things and talk down about the apes, they already lost, and they're not worth anybody's attention, in my opinion. They need to be in the rearview mirror, because the apes are here to stay. They've been blessed by Christie's. They've been blessed by Sotheby's. And I think what I can tell you for a fact, Poppy, you got Hollywood producers that are scouting for apes. You got Netflix producers that are looking for the next big thing featuring NFTs that are free and clear from an intellectual property perspective. And I can tell you, apes are number 1 on that list. They're number 1 on the radar for anybody looking for that. It's not the punks. It's not the me-bits. So, it is in the punks' best interest to embrace the apes. That's how I would phrase that right now.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love what you're preaching. Positivity, inclusiveness. There's just no space for anything else, especially in this space. I think we are all, we may invest in all kinds of different animals and whatnot, but we're all really the same and after the same things. And, it won't stop me from potentially one day getting a punk myself. That's still sort of a checkbox that I want to have. At some point right now, I'd have to give up 2 of my apes, and I'm not really prepared to do that because of the amount of just the value that the Bored Apes have brought to the table in terms of passive income and engagement. Like it's really hard for me to give it up. But at some point, when I feel like the time is right, I definitely plan on entering the punk stage as well. And I don't take it personal that others would never own both. And I'm totally 100% on your side. Now, so you get into NFTs as an investor, and you've got this background as a musician in the past. At what point do you realize, holy crap, these worlds are colliding, and I obviously have an opportunity to be at the forefront of it? How does that transition happen?
So it actually happened pretty quickly. Like, it didn't feel quick at the time because I was doing a lot of different things. But if you look at the calendar, like I bought my punk on February 23rd. And I released my song I'm Spottie on April 16th, I believe. So that's a pretty quick turnaround, because it took a little bit of time to get the song written and recorded. I remember I was inspired by other crypto punks like G Money, Archick, Beanie. A lot of these crypto punk owners they're doing really impressive things by creating anonymous personas, anonymous brands, right? Or pseudonymous, where I don't, I've had great conversations with all three of those punks that I just mentioned. They're friends of mine, and they've given me amazing advice, like invaluable advice that I would love to share with you later. But I don't know who they are. Like, I have no idea who they are. They could be anybody, and so there's something interesting about the community, the trust, the equity that you get by buying into some of these projects, right? And I said to myself, that's really interesting, and I think there's an interesting application to music. And I said, furthermore, I think that rather than it being me, the human entity, uh, speaking from my vantage point and my perspective as a punk avatar, I want to step into the world of my punk. I want to embody my punk and be the mouthpiece for my punk and give him a backstory and all this. And that's when it started to click that, like, well, the most interesting way that I could do that with my particular set of experiences and skills and talents is going to be through music. So that clicked over a few weeks, I think, after I bought my punk. And then at some point, because I'm pretty decent with, I'm good with wordplay and I'm good with naming things. And at some point it just hit me like Spottie Wi-Fi. That's the name, because I knew my challenge was in a name and in the whole idea. I have to take what is perceived as his biggest blemish or his biggest weakness or liability, and I have to flip that on its head and make that the thing that is his calling card and what people know him for, and have people laugh with me and poke fun at myself. And once I had the name, it was off to the races. I remember I had a call with my old music producer from back in the day, and we're best friends, we're lifelong friends. And I said, bro, I have a crazy idea to pitch you. And I didn't know how he was going to take it. We had never talked about NFT. No, we had talked about NFTs, but we had never talked about CryptoPunks. I didn't tell him how much I spent on a CryptoPunk. And I took him through everything I told you. I shared my screen right in this chair. And I said, let me play you this Mark Cuban video. Okay, now let me play you this Chamath video. Okay, now let me take you to the Larva Labs website and let me show you what I bought. And don't laugh, but this is how much I paid, and this is my idea. And when he saw the JPEG and when I told him the name Spottie Wi-Fi, thankfully, like amazing gratitude, it instantly clicked for him, and he got it, and he was down.
Unbelievable story, man. I kind of saw all that happen, and I'm so excited that sort of, a personality was kind of born out of that, right? And that you've now sort of, obviously are making that and turning that into a business. And I think a lot of people should look up to you for being sort of a pioneer in this particular niche of NFTs and music. So tell us about the project itself. And for those that may not be yet invested in the project, tell us sort of, I know you sold out immediately. So the only way to buy Spottie's NFTs are on OpenSea. I'll definitely link them down below. I'm a huge fan of the music. So tell me a little bit about where we are with the project.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. So the project launched, my NFT album launched on August 18th. We sold, my producer and I sold 2,000 NFTs for 0.03 ETH each. And they sold out in like a minute or less. You can read all about it at spottiewifi.com, and it also has the link to the OpenSea there. But basically what we did was innovative in a few different ways. Each NFT is one of the songs from the album, or there's a bunch of really rare remixes mixed in as well. And those aren't even part of the album. They only exist as the NFT. Some of those are as rare as one of ones. And each of the different songs and each of the remixes has its own unique visual artwork also. And so what we did is we said we wanted to make the world's first musical mystery mint. Okay, so, you put in your ETH. If you minted, you paid your ETH, and you didn't know which song, which NFT you were going to get. So you could get one that was pretty common, or you could get one that was really rare. You could even get a one of one. So there's that digital collectability right there. And that's something that we're all now in the NFT world. We're used to that when it comes to minting an ape or minting a goat or minting a chicken or whatever it is. As a profile picture, a JPEG, we're used to that. But I've said this for weeks now. Nobody's challenged me on it. I believe we were the first to do it with songs, with music as a mystery mint. So that's something I was really proud of. No matter what, no matter which song you pulled, whether it was on the album or whether it was a very rare remix, you also are getting a physical collectible, because everybody that holds one of these tokens, we're going to do a snapshot in November, and they're going to receive a vinyl record, a physical vinyl record. There will only be, I will only ever press the 2,000 of these that are being pressed right now. So that's going to be very collectible. You know, like none of your friends have a CryptoPunk record in their collection, I assure you, you know.
Does that mean that we get one vinyl per token that we own?
Yeah, you're going to get one per token. I didn't want to incentivize people to split up their tokens amongst different wallets. You know,
Right.
I'm really, really proud of the fact that for 2,000 tokens, I have over 700 holders right now. And I don't want to do anything to incentivize people to make that look artificially inflated. So you could have 100 tokens on one wallet, and I'm going to give you, we're going to send you 100 vinyl records. Shipping and handling is not included. You will pay for shipping and handling. I got to preface that. So that's the physical and the digital collectability. Then we wanted to offer utility, right? Because it's NFTs. We can do something that's never been done before. So what we're doing is, if you are a token holder, you have a non-exclusive and limited set of commercial rights, intellectual property, copyright, license rights to the songs that you own. Okay. So if you own one of my NFTs, for the song or songs that you have the NFT of, you could put that song in a film or a TV show or a YouTube show or an advertisement. You could remix it. You can request the stems, which are the individual music files, to make it easy to remix. You are entitled to those stems. Just hit me in the Discord and I'll make sure you get those. And it could be your film, your TV show, your advertisement, or you could license it to a third party, a a film studio, a TV studio, an advertiser, you know, maybe, you know, Unilever or Nike, they want to pay you for my song. Great, go for it. You own the NFT, and you won't owe me anything beyond that because you already own the NFT.
Dude, that is so freaking game changing. Like, is there any album you know of that has those kinds of licensing and distribution rights?
I don't know of any mainstream artist that's done anything like this. I believe my homie Louis C. Rhymes, he's another NFT rapper. I believe he's done this before me, to be very clear. I don't think I was the first to do that exactly. And I'm pretty sure there are some other NFT centric artists that have done that, or some indie artists that have done that. So that is not something where I necessarily think I was the first to do it. I think that I think it's going to be a new wave. I think more artists are going to be into that. I'm talking right now to some major mainstream artists about collaborations for the near future. And a couple of them, you know, I'm having these conversations with, like, hey, yes, I want to do a song with you no matter what. And this would just be a cherry on top. But if you allowed me to do this, if your contracts that you're already in would enable this, then I think you would be the first artist with like national or global name recognition to participate in something like this. So, and the conversations I've had so far, the artists are open to it. You know, it's really just a matter of their lawyers and the people around them and the contracts that they've already signed. So to me, it's going to happen. This will be the new wave. This will be the next wave. The thing that I didn't do, I stopped short of doing this. I'm not doing a royalty split. Okay. So I still own my masters, right? I still get 100% of the performance revenue. What that means is, Poppy, you could take one of the tokens you own from me, and you could put that song in an advertisement. Okay. That advertisement, if it airs on broadcast TV or terrestrial radio or on a digital streaming platform like Spottie, you will not owe me anything because you already own the NFT, but I will get a royalty when it airs, not from you, Poppy, not from the token holder, but I will get a royalty that is actually paid by the broadcaster. So if it's on NBC, they have to pay a royalty for any music that runs on their TV shows or their advertisements. Same with Spottie, same with terrestrial radio. And that's what, if you've ever heard of ASCAP or BMI, these are performance rights organizations that they basically make sure that musicians collect those royalties from the broadcasters. So I sat with a lawyer. I hired a lawyer who's an old friend of mine, a very experienced music lawyer. He helped me draft the terms and conditions that you'll see on the website, so that we're giving utility and intellectual property rights or a license to the owners, but I'm keeping my royalties. Now there is a new platform called Royal, which Blau is launching, that is intended to help share royalties with the users or with the fans and the NFT owners. And I think that's really interesting as well. I just haven't done that on my own because it's very complex. The plumbing of how to actually do that, it's very intimidating, because I would be sending micropayments to 700 people, like every month. And the other thing is, for me to personally do that and lead it on my own, I would like a little bit more clarity in terms of understanding how that's different from an unregistered security. But that's part of the utility that we offered, was the commercial rights. The other thing that we said, Poppy, if you own one of my tokens, you can go in my Discord, and we have some exclusive channels in the Discord where I do some exclusive announcements, events. We had a pretty cool viewing party. I had my first live concert recently, and
Congrats on that. Yeah, with the Bored Apes, right?
Yeah, the Bored Apes, they had an after party when the Sotheby's auction ended, and I was blessed that they actually invited me to perform. So I had my first virtual reality concert. It was really well received and very like state-of-the-art technology and visuals. But a lot of my fans, they missed it because it was during like the workday if you were on the West Coast. So we had a viewing party, semi-exclusive for my token holders, and I just announced it in that exclusive channel for them. That was on Sunday that we did that. And also, if you hold one of my tokens, I am occasionally asking questions that I ask the token holders to vote on. So, when in the first week of this, after the sale, I asked the token holders, what do you want me to do with the MP3s? Do you want the MP3s to be available for download for free to the general public? Or do you want them to be exclusive to the token holders and only you guys can download them? And I'm really proud, Poppy, that they voted overwhelmingly to give it out for free. And so that's what we've done. Because my token holders understand, Poppy, anybody should be able to listen to this music, whether it's on any streaming platform or if they want to download it, because that doesn't threaten the value of your NFT. In fact, I think it increases the value of your NFT. And as an NFT owner, you have a greater bundle of rights than just being able to listen to it and press play. You have all these other intellectual property rights. So it just shows me that the message is working. The owners, they understand what they really hold. And I'm really proud that they were willing to give that out and share it with the public.
I love that, man. I missed that part of, I didn't vote, but I 100% would have voted in that direction. And I love that the community sort of came to that consensus. Obviously, the more that people hear Spottie all around the world, then I think the better off everybody is, and the more attraction that you bring to your music. Now, so one thing that you said that resonated with me was the collectible side of things with the NFTs. Is so in the 90s, like late 90s, I used to collect rap albums, which is one of the reasons why as soon as I heard your music, I want to know who inspires you from a music perspective. But I used to have a lot like Mobb Deep, Nas, Wu-Tang Clan, Boot Camp, like all these artists in the late 90s. I used to collect their albums, and I probably still have a ton of them somewhere stored in some locker. But the collectible side of it, my friends and I, we enjoyed that part, and we used to trade and whatever. But now with NFTs, I think like that brings collecting to a whole new level. So love to see. And so that's why I'm kind of buying individual ones of yours, trying to get the collection. That piece really resonates with me. Now, so tell me, who sort of influenced you as a musician?
Man, you hit on a few of them. Number one for me is definitely Nas. Nas is my favorite artist of any, not even musical artist. Nas is my favorite artist. He is the streets disciple, the hood poet, and he has a way with words that is truly divine. Like he's been blessed by God to put words together in a way that makes people feel something, or makes people just feel like they're placed in a scene of a movie, and just in the middle of an experience. So Nas is my number one. I'm a 90s rap head, early 2000s even. But I'm a little bit, and it's crazy because that's old school now. That's really crazy to me. That snuck up on me. I wasn't prepared for that, but I'm told that I'm an old school rap head. I remember the guy though. It's funny because Nas is my GOAT, but it was actually Jay-Z that helped me fall in love with rap. I remember watching on as a youngster. There was some music festival, outdoor music festival going on, and Jay-Z was performing. It was on MTV. They were showing this, and it was pouring rain, like buckets of rain. And I think a lot of the performers canceled or whatever. And Jay-Z was like, "No, we're he put on a great show." This was like volume 2, Hard Knock Life time, like 97, 98, something like that. And I just remember this visual of him like standing out in the rain in a big white tee, just spitting and getting drenched in rain and stuff. And he didn't care, he was just about it. And I also loved, like, my mom used to always play the oldies station. So when I heard the song Hard Knock Life, and it was sampling like Annie, and just this idea of sampling, that was really cool to me, because my mom had a record player, and for some reason she actually kept the record player in my bedroom when I was very young. And so I would be in there like scratching the records, and she would hate that, but I could hear a song on the radio or on MTV of like Jay-Z or Puff Daddy or Mace or Biggie sampling an old record, and then I would go back in the bedroom and just like scratch some records and feel like I was part of that culture and everything. So yeah, I mean, I love a lot of New York rap. Like I love Cameron. I like artists that are very serious, like Nas and Jay-Z, and then somebody like Cam, who's more playful and can really have fun with it. I'm also a big Midwest guy. Like originally, when I first entered the Meatverse out of the metaverse, I spent a lot of time in Chicago. So I love Kanye, bro. Like I will ride or die with Kanye. It puts me in a perilous position in some music debates or in some just psychology debates, but I love Kanye. And yeah, those are like my big one. I have love for the West Coast as well. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Pac and a lot of others. But I think I'm really a Midwest and East Coast guy at heart.
Dude, now I see why I love your music so much, man. I could see how you're inspired by the same musicians that I was listening to in late '99. My homie and I made a mixtape, and we're just regular dudes from Toronto, man. Like that just fell in love with rap. I remember my parents couldn't even understand how I would listen to that music because they're so
Right.
traditional. And I remember our mixtape was #1 song was Nas Illmatic, One Love. Second song was Mobb Deep, Shook Ones Part 2. Third song was Biggie, Who Shot Ya. Fourth song was Wu-Tang Clan, Cream. Like, that's the stuff we were listening to, man. It looks like now I see why your music is so good to me.
Well, the East Coast, I don't want to stereotype, but the West Coast, they certainly have a lot. I think of the West Coast as really pushing the boundaries in production and bringing the funk and experimenting with different flows. But when I think of the East Coast, I just think of the penmanship, bro. It's about the lyrics, and all those songs you mentioned right there, classic storytelling and amazing lyricism. And even though my songs, my music as Spottie is very playful, right? Spottie, I don't take myself too seriously because look, I'm Spottie, right? But I try to make sure that with every song, with every hook, and with every single bar, I want people to understand, like, I didn't just wake up and this year and decide I'm going to be a crypto punk rapper. I put in my 10,000 hours, and you can hear it in the rhymes. You can hear it in my producer, in the production and the production value that you're getting. So we try to just like represent and stand on the shoulders of those giants that inspired us, even though we're doing something different and something more playful. We want everybody to understand that we're bringing our love for the craft to the table every time.
Nice. So what's next for Spottie Wi-Fi? Obviously, I know you're going to continue to find ways to deliver value to those investors in the project, and I know you've talked about sort of the plans there and what's next for the project itself. But what do you got planned for Spottie Wi-Fi, the brand, the musician?
So right now, it's a few things that we're on a full-on assault on. Okay, in the immediate future, knock on wood, you're going to see some mainstream press discovering the story of Spottie Wi-Fi, understanding what we accomplished with my album drop on August 18th. And we're looking for a pretty big publication, a pretty big rap publication to be telling that story and asking questions about what this means for the music industry very soon. And just to sidetrack for a second, because if you think about it, my guy NFT Nick, he made a tweet, he did some math. I sold 60 ETH worth of records in 45 seconds. He said, in order for me to earn that kind of revenue on a streaming service like Spotify, I would need over 35 million spins. Okay. I have fewer than 10,000 spins across the whole internet, Poppy. So the question is, what happens when a mainstream artist jumps in and evolves their distribution business model? They're gonna change the whole game on a global level, because they're not gonna rake in 60 ETH. You know, they're gonna rake in like 6,000 ETH in 45 seconds. What if Kanye or Drake, with one of these last two albums they dropped, what if they said, we're doing a mystery mint and you get commercial usage rights, you know, or you get VIP access to all my shows for the rest of your life, you know, whatever it is, bro. I feel like we're kicking in a door that is gonna be very impactful. So press, that's one pillar of what we're working toward now. Another thing is features and collabs. Okay, we've got a few mainstream artists that we've been talking to, and you're gonna see at least one mainstream collab with an artist that I know you're gonna love. By the way, this is a hint, maybe a little alpha. I forgot, I love the Dirty South, bro. I love the Dirty South, okay? You might hear me with a little bit of a drawl on some of my songs, but anyways, that's a little alpha. That's a little sneak peek, but you're going to hear Spottie on a track with a legendary, and I don't throw that word around a lot, a legendary MC very soon. And we're going to be taking some of the elements from my album distribution and bridging that gap and saying, what happens if we take some of what made this interesting and we do it with an artist that has bigger name recognition? So that's coming soon. Then in the more midterm, like toward the end of the year, early 2022, you're going to start to see us showing the world of Spottie, the Spottieverse, and telling his backstory and the story of some of the cast of characters around him, like his Bored Ape Hype Man, his Me Bit DJ, and a lot his other band members. We're not just thinking music. Music is the tip of the spear, but you know, the truth is, I don't want to be the CryptoPunk rap star. I want to be the CryptoPunk megastar. You know, I'm going for the rock status, Poppy. Like right now I'm in my WWE phase, right? But eventually we're going to Hollywood. So those next steps beyond music, you'll start to see some of the teasers for that coming later this year into early 2022. And for my original token holders, for the I'm Spottie album token holders like yourself, you guys, for the foreseeable future, you basically have the Spottie season pass, you know? So anything that we do with another artist, if it becomes minted as an NFT, you guys will get a free mint. Anything that we do with any other sort of content or any other sort of storytelling, whether it's animation, whether it's something 2D, 3D, whatever it is, if it is minted, you guys will have a free pass to that. So that's for the foreseeable future, at least well into 2022, because I have no plans of a new album until, well, anytime soon. So that's the way that we're looking at it. Music is the beginning, and everything right now is focused on expanding the Spottieverse and bringing value back to the token holders.
Dude, I honestly, I can't contain myself for how exciting it is for the vision, the very clear vision that you just laid out. And I am so hyped to see what's coming next. Spottie, like, look, guys, I can summarize this in one word, one sentence. Don't sell your Spottie NFTs. I mean, come on, listen to this. There aren't that many creators out there that have such a solid plan and a vision, and it's believable. Like, I know I will see you. I feel like I'm going to see you on CNN soon. Like, you know, Gary Vee was on CNN this morning. Dude, I feel like you are one of the few creators in this space who has that shot and that opportunity, because you're kind of doing game-changing stuff. Hey, do you ever, I wonder about one thing. Who stands to be the most threatened by what you're doing?
That's a great question. I think that there are people that are indirectly threatened by what I'm doing. I don't think anybody is like, what I mean by that is I don't have a manager, I don't have an agent, I don't have a label, I don't have a publisher. You're looking at it. I have a producer. I have a producer who makes the music. He helps me with some visuals, and he's my right hand man. He's my partner. He's my strategic partner. Right? We come up with these ideas together. But the two of us, we're not threatening anybody directly. But I think what's interesting is I talk to a lot of middlemen. Poppy, the music industry is infested with middlemen.
Right.
And those can be managers, business managers. There's two types of managers, by the way. You got the artist manager, you got the business manager, you got the booking agent, you got the A&R, you got the label, you got the publisher, and that's why these artists go broke, Poppy. These artists go broke because they sign a bullshit deal where they're not even signing away the rights to their music alone anymore. They're signing their merchandising rights. They wouldn't be able to sell a chain without the music label taking a cut out of it. And so there's all these middlemen with their hands out. And that is who I am indirectly threatening, because I'm saying to the music industry, you don't need them. You don't need 10 million fans that are going to spend $1 on you every year. What you need is you need to find 500 or 1,000 people that connect with you and that love what you're doing, because they're going to support you no matter what. And you can have a direct relationship with them, and you don't need 10 people in between you and them with their hands out. And that, all those middlemen, those are the people that I'm threatening indirectly. I had a conversation with a guy recently. He's been helping some mainstream artists and athletes put together NFT collections with some mixed results, right? And some mixed feedback from the community. And he approached me because he works with an artist that I'm a fan of, multi-platinum selling artist. And he knows I want to work with this artist. And what he doesn't know is I've been having direct conversations with this artist. But he approached me and he said, hey, man, what would be your budget to do a song together after I sold my album out? He didn't really want to talk too seriously about it a month ago. But after I sold my album out, he called me and says, how much you want to pay this artist to hop on a track? I was like, I could put a budget together, but it's not going to be it's not going to be what he's used to, because I don't want to just throw him a bag of money, take a song, take a verse from him and walk away. What I want to do, I want to give him some money up front, but then I want to share profit with him so we all win in a much bigger way. He'll make more off of sharing profit with Spottie than he would make off of a traditional deal where he's getting paid up front, because I made 200 grand in 45 seconds and I have 5,000 spins. What could I do? What do you think I'm going to do when I get this artist on my song, right? And this guy was like, no, not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. He said, what if I paid you, Spottie? What if I pay you $10,000 to hop on a song with him, and then you walk away and we take the song and we do with it what we want? I said, bro, why would I do that? Why would I take $10,000 to give you a verse? I know my value. I've done something now that nobody in the history of entertainment has ever done. So, and I know it's worth more than $10,000. And my fans know it's worth more than $10,000. And he laughed at me. He started interrupting me, condescending me, and I couldn't get a word in for the rest of the phone call. And the reason why, Poppy, is because he got defensive, because he's a middleman. He's a middleman, and he knows that the only reason what I'm saying doesn't make sense from his perspective is because the only value he's bringing to the conversation is being a quote unquote connector or a middleman. And in order for him to take his cut, in order for him to get his bread out of the deal, what I'm talking about, it cannot happen. It does not compute. And, but when I talk to the artists directly, the math starts to make a lot of sense very quickly. So, sorry, I'm rambling now because this is something I'm super passionate about, bro, but it's the middlemen, the bloodsuckers, the leeches. Their days are numbered, Poppy. I'm telling you, NFT technology, and it's not me. It was inevitable. The technology has enabled this. If it wasn't Spottie, it would have been somebody else that would expose this, because these people are vulnerable and their day will come. The countdown has begun.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm glad I asked you that question, because I had a feeling you'd probably be passionate about kind of the opportunity there. And it's going to be interesting to see what the record labels do and the middlemen do to either, try to get along with this market, tap into this market somehow, or else I do believe they'll be disrupted. And one of the first things that actually resonated with me when I bought my first Bitcoin was the idea that we were removing the middleman, the middlemen's being the banks at that point. I would have never imagined, dude, that like 4 years later, we're literally talking about you disrupting the music industry using the same technology. And this is going to repeat over and over and over again in pretty much every industry in the world right now.
I couldn't agree more, man. It's just the power of the blockchain, the ability to know exactly who has my token right now, and I don't need to know their name, but just knowing like I can airdrop them something right now. I can reward them right now. That is crazy impactful, and I really think music is going to be a cheat code for communicating the value proposition of not only NFTs, but blockchain technology. And here's why. We all have those normie friends, Poppy. We have those everyday friends that when you tell them you have an ape worth 6 figures, they say, why wouldn't you sell that right now? You're a fool. I could right click save that. I just took a screenshot on my phone. Now I stole your ape. You're a fool. You should sell that, right? We make these right click save jokes all the time in the NFT world. But those same friends, a majority of those same friends, they understand the difference between an MP3 and an artist owning their masters. They've heard Kanye ranting about his masters. They know that Prince bought back his masters. They know that Michael Jackson, bought the Beatles masters or whatever that story is. And they've had that conversation. They've been exposed to that conversation before. It's more intuitive to them than thinking of JPEGs and screenshots. Okay. So I really think music is going to be a cheat code to helping us bridge the gap between ourselves and the mainstream. And I'm excited to be at the forefront of it. And also, we had a lot of these kinds of conversations over a decade or 2 decades ago in the Napster era, right? Like all of your friends, they understand that you can't bottle up an MP3. If I sold you a compact disc, which I don't even know if they make compact discs anymore, but you could rip all the MP3s off of it and you could send it out to all your friends for free. I would have no idea. Not only can I not stop you, I can't even know about it, right? But like we talked about with my NFTs, the technology now enables me through smart contracts to say, you know what? Take the MP3s. In fact, I'm giving you get an MP3, you get an MP3 like Oprah. But what I'm giving you via a smart contract is an elevated experience and an elevated bundle of rights. So when we bring that conversation to the main stage and to the mainstream through music, I think our friends, their ears are going to perk up more and they're going to understand it in a way that they don't understand it right now when we're talking about JPEGs.
Yeah, dude, you're I swear you're changing the music industry. Me as a consumer, I would, yeah, sure, I've done that before. Who hasn't ripped a CD off of a friend that they already owned? Because really the value that you were getting, don't get me wrong, was some amazing music, but for many albums, it's like 2 or 3 good songs out of 12. And so,
Right.
You can justify it easier in your head to just, if you're just listening to the music, to just get it for free. And you're changing the game because people like me now want to own that music. We don't want to be, participating in the consumption economy. We want to be participating in what you're creating and being able to benefit from that in the future. So, dude, this is all game changing. What advice do you have for maybe an aspiring artist that, hasn't made it yet, isn't on Spotify, and is looking at you as a role model and wants to get into the space?
Okay, so a few pieces of advice. Number one, I would say try to innovate. I guarantee you have the ability to do something that nobody's done before because that's how early we are. Even me, like I say, I'm very proud that my NFT album was the world's first musical mystery mint, right? Like that's pretty novel, but it's also not like I didn't come up with the idea for a mystery mint. I just took something that I saw happening over and over again with JPEGs and I said, let's do it for my music. Like I love that I was able to do that, but it's not like I'm a genius for doing that. I literally just took something that was happening outside of the music medium and said, let's do it for music NFTs. So study the greats, study Larva Labs, study how they put out the CryptoPunks for free, study the MeBits, how the MeBits came out and were basically free for CryptoPunk owners and autoglyph owners. Study the Bored Apes. What I did with the copyright license was inspired by the Bored Apes. What the Bored Apes did with the dogs or with the mutants was probably inspired by the MeBits. Study Punk's comic. Study Beanie's tweets. Beanie talking about how it's always good to package a physical item or a physical collectible with your NFT. Study the greats. Study Spottie, because I'm putting myself up there now too, Poppy, because I'm feeling myself. But in all seriousness, oh fuck, my cat just closed the laptop, and I think we got really lucky. I didn't.
We're good. You're still live.
He's always doing this, bro. He's wilding out here. That's my probably single greatest piece of advice. Study the greats, and don't just rush in with your product ready to sell. Remember, I gave you the timeline. I bought my punk on February 23rd. Okay. I didn't sell an NFT until August. Okay. So what does that mean? It means, Poppy, I spent 6 months embedding myself in the community. I wrote a song called Christie's, the Punk's Anthem. That was to celebrate the first ever Christie's auction of CryptoPunks. Okay. It was also the theme song for the original Punks comic. So I used my craft, I used my talents to celebrate and show love to the CryptoPunk community, to the Christie's community, and to the Punks comic community all in one. I wrote a song called Elite Ape, which is all about the Cheetah Gang, right? It's all about celebrating the Bored Ape Yacht Club culture. I use my talents to celebrate and show love to the community. And I just laid groundwork for 6 months. For most of that time, I didn't even know exactly what my drop was going to be. And I definitely didn't know when it was going to be. But if you rush in and you're just ready to sell your wares, man, you might have some success, but you will have exponentially more success if you come in, read the room, listen, observe, figure out which communities are appealing to you, which communities are passionate and that you want to be a part of, and then figure out how you can bring value to them, how you can use your unique experiences and skills to show them love. Because I promise you, when the time comes, they will reciprocate and they will show you love. That's a guarantee. So study the greats, put in the time, show love, be a part of the community, not just a merchant. And then I think the most tactical piece of advice I'll give, Poppy, all of the smartest people in the game, they told me the same thing. You want to set your price low. You want to let the secondary market help you determine the value of your work, okay? You want your collectors, your day one collectors, you want them to feel like they got an amazing deal, they got an amazing price, and that if they needed to liquidate for any reason, if a personal issue came up and they needed to sell, they know that they're secure, they're going to be in profit. And that's been something really important to the vibe in my Discord, the vibe amongst my collectors. Everybody's happy. We minted at 0.03. The floor is at 0.07 or 0.08 now. So everybody's riding high. They know they're part of history. And they also know that they made a smart decision, and that they were early. I asked G Money months ago, probably in April or May. I said, hey, man, I have this idea. I want to sell these songs as NFTs. Do you think anybody will buy them? And how many would you mint and how much would you charge? He said, bro, yes, I think people will buy them, but I have no idea how to answer the rest of your questions. All I can tell you is however many you're thinking of minting, mint fewer. And however much you're thinking of charging, charge less. You ask Beanie Maxi, he'll tell you the same thing. The model is very clear. If you want a recipe for success, set that price low and let the secondary market bubble up, right? Digital Art Chick, she told me you cannot set your primary price low enough. You don't want to be sitting on the primary market. She told me it's not up to you to set a price. That's what she literally told me. She said it's not up to the artist to name their price. It's up to the secondary market to name the price. Now, if it was up to her, I would have priced it at 0.01. So obviously I didn't completely take her advice because I did 0.03. But I'm just telling you, these are, in my opinion, some of the smartest people in the game, some of the most successful people in the game. And these are the people that I listened to when I was pricing mine. When we sold out in 45 seconds, Poppy, believe me, I had some FOMO. You know, I said, man, I might have sold 10,000 for 0.1 in 10 minutes, you know, and believe me, I have 10 minutes. That's nothing to me. But the truth is, I'm so glad that I didn't, because you're going to have flippers. You're going to have people that buy your work just so they can flip it. They don't care about you. They don't care about your art. They don't care about your mission or your purpose. If I had succumbed to my most greedy impulses, you know, I'd probably have some disgruntled collectors right now. I bought this for 0.1. The floor is at 0.07 now, but I sold it for 0.03. So the floor at 0.07, we're looking great, baby. That's what I'm blessed. I had great advice from those people, and that's the best advice that I can pay forward right now.
Bro, that's some incredible advice, man. That is, honestly, I hope everybody that's listening to this takes that to heart. And it's only getting harder and harder to drop an NFT project right now. I mean, given the current landscape we're in, of course, you know, that can change next week and everything again starts moving. But, you know, I really hope people kind of listen to that. Dude, congratulations, man, on the incredible success that you've had so far. It's still so early that I cannot wait to see what comes next with Spottie Wi-Fi. I feel so confident that you're going to deliver on everything that you just promised, whereas so many creators out there, you know, are very different than you. They don't have that long-term vision. You've got it nailed, man. You have the short-term, the mid-term, and the long-term vision, and you know where you're going. And I love that, and I hope this inspires other people to get involved in this space. If you're an aspiring musician, listen to Spottie's feedback, do what you can, and get ready and look for whenever the time is right for you to drop your own thing. Dude, thank you so much for being here. Any last words you want to say?
Poppy, it's 100% my pleasure. I'm very blessed to be able to have this time with you and to share my story and any little pieces of advice that I can share, man. I just encourage everybody, like, if you're passionate about this space, believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Don't listen to anybody around you that doesn't understand it. And if you can find a mentor, great, find a mentor, but there's no replacement for doing your own research. Like I said, study the greats, because even the greats that I listed, they're still figuring it out. You know what I mean? They're still figuring it out. So if you study them, you might see an area of opportunity where you say, I can even improve what they did, you know? And it's right now, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about fine tuning, you know, if you have a mind blowing idea, run with it. But you might just say, I see something that Spottie did, and I can fine tune it and do that. That could be a winning recipe for you. Other than that, check me out on Twitter at Spottie Wi-Fi, SpottieWiFi.com, and much love, Poppy. This was a really fun interview. I appreciate you.
Bro, thanks for being here. I'm going to leave everybody with my favorite song from your collection is the Art Chick song. Love that song. So I'll make sure we see everybody out with that song. All right, guys, check it out. Peace.
Seen her on her Twitter. She colder than the Arctic in the middle of the winter. Meet me in the middle, baby, I'm a winner. That's when she told me
it's Art Chick, not Art Chick.
With her. Seen her on her Twitter. She colder than the Arctic in the middle of the winter.